Okay, so this is the new moon report for December 7th. And it's going to be the last new moon of the year. And when we walk through the chart, I'm going to show you a few things. I labeled this one Awaken Change, All in Good Time. So we'll walk through the chart and we'll see what that means. But it seems like a lot of work throughout the year with all the full moons and new moons and retrogrades and all this stuff, and the masculine and the feminine is all seems like there's like a completion of the lesson. And this new moon is going to be in the constellation of Ophiuchus, which is the 13th hidden zodiac sign that we always talk about, which is in the galactic center, which I always talk about the galactic center because I'm kind of crazy about it. Actually, throughout all my times when I'm reading, I'm realizing that the person's spiritual essence is not, based on my observation, is not their sun sign. And I realized that the other day because someone was asking me, well, what's that person's sun sign? And I was just like, they're not their sun sign. They're what planet is in the galactic center, that's who that person is. That's who I know that person to be. So, and there's a reason for that. I mean, the galactic center is a very powerful electromagnetic force. So it's the center of the galaxy. But then there's also, I'm going to do a whole video on this galactic center because it's the information that I'm getting right now and researching, it's ancient. So even the Incas have a lot to do with the galactic center. Even the dark rift, they call that the Llama, and the Llama brings forth the message. And and I'll show you on the screen share because Ophiuchus is there, and Ophiuchus is a living medicine priest or a living medicine god throughout all of the ancient mythologies. So in ancient Greece, the ancient Greek mythology, he was Asclepius, and his symbol is the staff with the two serpents, which is also the symbol of medicine modern day. Also, back going to ancient Egypt, it's Imhotep, and the same symbol is the staff with the serpent spiraled 7 times. 7 times is the 7 energy centers of the human vessel, the 7 chakras. So that's there. And then he even goes back into ancient Sumeria. Enki is also the god of medicine. So all this stuff goes back, and then you go back even to, on a scientific level, the 2 billion years we've been merging with another galaxy called the Sagittarius Dwarf Galaxy, and it's in that galactic center. And what are the odds that we put a constellation there called Sagittarius too? Because you have Scorpio, Ophiuchus, and then Sagittarius on the other side. So it's like death, resurrection, and then wisdom. Like Sagittarius is the wisdom. So what are the odds that Sagittarius is in the same place that the Sagittarius galaxy is coming into our galaxy? But it all the zodiac goes back. I mean, how long does the zodiac goes back? Before we had deep space observation, and we put that there. So that tells me that the ancients knew something to do that placement. So that's what's driving me right now to keep on digging. But I'm going to walk you through because the day after the new moon, so it's in Ophiuchus, but the day after there's an exact conjunction of the new moon, of the moon, and the galactic center. So that's even stronger. So we're going to kind of walk through, we're going to just go through that for a little bit. But before I go over to the screen share, I want to make sure, number one, that we're doing the drawing for the free year of astrology. So on the 21st of December, we're going to do the drawing for 1 year of free astrology. So all you got to do is join our Facebook group, Sidereal Revolution, and you'll be entered to win. Second, as you know, Sidereal Astrology, we align accurately with the stars and the constellations in the sky. So you've witnessed me kind of like freaking out when people say like the last full moon. People were saying, okay, the full moon in Gemini and all this stuff. and it was like freaking driving me crazy because I was out looking at it and I can see it was in Taurus because it's conjunct to Pleiades. So you had the moon, Pleiades, then you had Orion, right? And then the Gemini twins were all the way, Castor and Pollux, all the way to the east. So, and I'm hoping that you guys can just like, download that app called Stellarium, and you can see the night sky for yourself, and you can see really what's going on. So yeah, so those are only the two announcements. So now we're gonna move over to the screen share, and we're gonna kind of walk through the charts, and we're gonna see what this new moon's bringing up for us, the last new moon of the year. All right, guys, see you later. So here we have the new moon up, December 7th, 2018. It says it goes exact 2:36 a.m. So that means, maybe like December 6th or something like that, you can go out like 11 o'clock, midnight, or 10 o'clock, and you can get to see the sky. A lot of times when there's a new moon or a full moon, I like to see what planets are visible in the sky because that has a lot of influence. And what I noticed, you have Uranus here, so that's why I labeled this one Awaken Change, All in Good Time. And we're going to talk about All in Good Time because we're going to see how Saturn is hitting Venus and Mars, which also went through a lot of lessons this past year. So we're going to go over that. But yeah, I mean, this is a beautiful scene because you have Uranus here, which is like quick, radical change, liberation, and it's retrograde. So it's a lot of internal processing that happened with Uranus this year. But also the stars, the constellations that are going to be up are going to be cool because you have Orion, which is beautiful. I love Orion. Then you have the Pleiades, which is amazing. I think when I was born I had Pleiades rising, so that's why I love the Pleiades, and I photographed that a lot. And Orion is amazing, the three belt stars, and the nebula below. And then Sirius is the brightest star in the sky. And there's a lot of mythology with that too, because Sirius is Isis, and Orion is Osiris, right? So you have that going on. Let me just see if what we had here. Yeah, there's the Uranus is trining up on the galactic center. So there's a lot. We spoke about that galactic center. We're going to see the day after the new moon. The new moon is going to be conjunct the galactic center, and I'm going to show that to you on the astronomy software that I have. So we're going to see what it looks like in the sky. So that's one thing. So let's move on to the chart because that's there's a lot here. So I'm going to just have my notes here. So first thing I want to point out is the test of time. But before that, I want to go over Pluto because you see the new moon is in Ophiuchus, but it's on the cusp of Scorpio. Pluto rules Scorpio. And throughout all my videos, we were noticing that Pluto was having a lot of impact on especially Mars and Venus. There was just a lot of energy and there was a lot of lessons because Saturn was involved too, if you remember. And what I noticed was, Pluto breaks everything down. Pluto is the final death before anything could be resurrected. Which is why it's Scorpio, right? Because Scorpio and then Ophiuchus, and then Sagittarius is life again. But you can see here, Pluto, there's no contact. See here? There's no planetary contact with Pluto. I mean, Pluto is hitting a few points, but planetary-wise, there's no planetary contact with Pluto. So that tells me that Pluto's time is he's on a break. Pluto's on a break from breaking things down. So that's something good because whenever you see Pluto, it's like, oh shit, So this is good. So Pluto is done chopping everybody up, spitting everyone out in pieces, whatever. So okay, so now we look at Saturn. If you remember in my past videos, Saturn was always given lessons to either Venus or given lessons to Mars, right? And they were hard lessons. Some of them were hard lessons, but now we can see here Saturn, and there's a sextile to both Mars and also to Venus. And Saturn is what I read that as is Saturn is going to Mars and Venus, the masculine, the divine masculine and divine feminine, and saying, lessons learned, all in good time. You've passed your test, or So I can see that there. So now that tension is released between the masculine and feminine, because that was playing out all year, and I saw it playing out with people. I saw it playing out in the media, and And now it's like settled, and it's the last new moon of the year, so it's like, okay, we've completed a big cycle. So that's kind of nice to see. I like to see that. Let's see here, Pluto. Yeah, so as this is going on, new moon, we notice that Jupiter and Mercury, Jupiter's in Scorpio, Mercury goes into Libra. So this is all kind of hidden mysteries being weighed or revealed, because Mercury just went direct, actually. So that was important. I forgot to mention that Mercury went direct the day before. So December 6th, Mercury went direct. So it's in Libra. So before it was in Scorpio. So hidden mysteries, and then now it went to Libra to reevaluate those hidden mysteries or the hidden information. But then you have the Sun now in Ophiuchus with the Moon, and then you have Jupiter in Scorpio, which Jupiter, whatever Jupiter touches, it expands. So the hidden mysteries, the revealing of the hidden mysteries, expanded. And also Jupiter is lucky, and also Jupiter is the protector. Even in the real solar system, Jupiter protects Earth from meteors and asteroids, because Jupiter is the massive planet that absorbs all from the gravitational pull. It absorbs all of the incoming trajectories, right? So that's what Jupiter is. So wherever you see Jupiter, you know that there's like expansive luck. There's like a big movements going on there. So that's in Scorpio. So the hidden mysteries. So all that's going on. So that's what leads me to believe why I label this awaken change, because you have that Uranus here and then the change, like this change, and all this information. Scorpio is change. It's the finality of everything before change can happen. You can't die halfway and then be reborn again. Scorpio is not going to let that happen. So that's the energy that we're looking at here. One thing I wanted to point out too is what I like to see what the masculine was doing, the feminine is doing. So the masculine, you can see here, Mars is conjunct Neptune, and it's in Aquarius. So this is like, for the people, global. Then you got Chiron and Pisces. It's always there, but that's like global healing. But this is like for the people, humanitarian. But this is spiritual warrior. And this is a tight conjunction, 17 degrees and 17 degrees. Yeah. So that's like the spiritual warrior. So I see that now the masculine, instead of being brute, which we saw before, being like really hard, this is kind of flowing with the spiritual side of the divine masculine. So that's nice to see. I like to see that. And then the feminine, the Venus, is in Virgo. Virgo is that Mother Mary that we always talk about. It's the virgin cosmic mother. That's in all the mythology. There's always a virgin cosmic mother that gives, divine birth, the immaculate conception to like the Son of God or something like that. The great archetype. So that's going on. So yeah, this is good. This is really good. I like to see this. So let's jump over to the day after the new moon. And we can see here there's a tight conjunction, the new moon and the galactic center. So like we said before, the galactic center is super powerful, and I'm researching that right now, and I'm going to do a whole video on that. But this is where the spiritual essence of a person lies. This is where they say that the voices of God, the spiritual voices, speak through this point, the galactic center. And Ophiuchus is there, which is the medicine. So yeah, so that's the day after. So new moon, you plant, and you have all this like resurrection stuff going on, and then you have this communion with this voice of God, this like great voice after the new moon. So that's just what the sky looks like. That's what the day after, and then I'm going to show you night sky. What the real night sky and what this all looks like, and that's the Milky Way. So here's the Milky Way, and I'll zoom in. Here's the moon, and of course it's dark because it's a new moon, not reflecting the sun. But here it is, the galactic center right here. And right here, the Incas refer to this as the llama. You see, it looks like a llama. And that's where the sun passed through in 2012. That's the Great Rift. That's where the visitor, it says the visitor is coming with the message. And that's what we spoke about. Here's what are the odds that Sagittarius is here, right, on the other side, and you have Scorpio here on one side, Sagittarius on the other, and right in the middle you have Ophiuchus, which is the medicine man. And you know, Sagittarius looks like a teacup. So I always say Sagittarius is pouring the elixirs, you know, life's elixirs into the Milky Way. So yeah, because Sagittarius looks like a teacup. Yeah, if you look in the sky, Sagittarius is not an archer, you know, whatever. It's a teacup. So yeah, so that's the moon right there, and it's right in that galactic center. So yeah, so that's the sky. Let's see if I just missed anything, because there's a lot here with the test, all that. I think good, man. Yeah, so just you know, join our Facebook group, Sidereal Evolution, because I'm giving away a free year of astrology, which is you know, your natal chart and then transits every 3 months. And I'm giving that away for 13 people, 13 lucky winners, because there's 13 zodiac signs. And the 13th is the mystery, which is the actual human vessel that is awakening to cosmic consciousness, which is what we're on path to be. So yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys later. All right.